Hello and welcome to Rubbing Minds. Before we went to the break, we were having a conversation about, certain very important topics affecting the nation. And now we want to talk about what I call the curious accent syndrome. In today's Nigeria, sounding foreign seems to carry more weight than sounding authentic. From corporate boardrooms to casting calls in Nollywood, there's a growing bias that's equates certain accents with intelligence, class, or competence, leaving many young Nigerians feeling pressured to abandon their natural tone just to fit in. So on this particular segment, we're going to explore the unspoken rules around diction, accent bias, and what it means to speak well. Are we losing our voice in a bid to sound acceptable? And who sets these standards in the first place? To discuss this with me, I have Oludakbo Adewale, who is a media and communication professional. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Also, I have a HR professional, Olamide Afolayan. You're looking very good. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Both of you are looking absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
And you also sound very well. So I think we need to first of all set the tone. When is one using a foreign accent, and what is the thin line between using a foreign accent and having a good diction? I think we need to set that background first. What do you think, Oludakbo?
Oludolapo.
Oludolapo.
Yes.
It's Oludakbo, they told me. Well, pardon me, Oludolapo.
Accepted. I usually call myself Oludolapo Remido. And to your question, I think what I would say is diction is clearly different from accent. The first thing that you need to settle is you are not speaking with a different accent when you're trying to speak with diction. One thing that you should know as a person is that when you're speaking with diction, that is not faking an accent. Faking an accent, speaking with a foreign accent, is a total different ballgame. Foreign accent is different. Nigerian accent is what you have and you should project to the world. For instance, there was a time I tried to do a poll asking some people that, how do I sound? And some people went British, American, and all sorts. And I'm like, I am 100% Nigerian, I speak Nigerian, and that's the accent that I portray. So foreign accent is a different thing. If you were born there, fantastic. But if you're here, sound like a Nigerian. So there's a difference between diction and accent.
So you would say that you are currently sounding Nigerian. If you go to the market and you're trying to shop, do you have any challenge with maybe the orange seller or whatever you're trying to buy? Do they struggle to hear you?
No, I would say no, because diction for me is clarity. How are you speaking? Are you speaking with the proper tone? Are you speaking with the proper grammar? Are you speaking with a proper tone or inflection? That's diction for me. It's about clarity.
All right. Olamide, you're a HR professional, and sometimes we see cases where HR professionals hire people that speak with an accent because of the way it would reflect on the company, as opposed to competence. And down the line, it seems like they can't keep up with the actual work. But they look good and they sound good. Is this something that you've experienced in your line of work?
Absolutely. I would say that I've experienced brilliant minds, really intelligent people being passed over because of the way they speak, how refined their vocabularies are, right, and being passed over to people who are averagely intelligent, just so that, just because those persons are able to properly present their point, and so they sound more intelligent, they sound more bold, and because of that, certain decisions such as promotions, such as being hired, right, gives them an edge, right, and I think it is the responsibility of HR professionals to actually watch out for those things. I'll give an instance. Recently, I would say some time ago, I was recruiting for a legal opportunity, like a legal associate opportunity. And I remember very vividly that during the course of the conversation, the CEO told me that, this person has an accent, this Yorubatic accent, and so I would not be considering her because of this. And I'm like, okay, but she's able to actually present you know, what she was trying to communicate properly. And
Sorry to butt in. What is a Yoruba accent? What is an Igbo accent? I've never really heard people complain about American accent, or you're talking in the UK and somebody is saying, oh, you have a UK accent. How did we get it wrong? You know, certain things like, oh, Yoruba people have H factor.
Actually.
Is that supposed to be a problem? The question is, when they communicate, when the person speaks, do you understand what the person is saying? So where did we actually get this wrong?
Well, so to buttress or to clarify what you just asked, right, it's a macro problem. It's not just about the Yoruba accent or the Igbo accent. I've had situations whereby we've interviewed expatriates, right, Indians, and people are not willing to take certain candidates because of the way they're able to communicate their English, right? The vocabularies are not fluent, they're not so eloquent and things like that, and the accents are playing out. Yeah. So if you're operating in a global space, I would say that those things actually matter, and also depending on your profession. If you're someone that's what you sell is the way you speak, for instance, the way you speak so great, right? If that is what you actually do, it means that you would not pass in an interview when you don't speak well, right? When you have such factors, when you have such accents, because people would not take you seriously at the end of the day. Let's just be realistic. Yeah.
Okay, well, I like to think I have a very authentic Nigerian accent. I've never had to put on a foreign accent to get a job.
Absolutely.
Thankfully.
I like that.
Thank you very much. That leads me to the next question, Olu Dolapo. We've also seen that parents these days would rather take their children to certain schools that they teach them in a particular accent. You know, oh, my child attends this school and my child will speak in a certain way. They don't necessarily consider the educational standard of that particular school. It's just really the accent. Is this right?
Okay, in one short answer, no, it's not right. To buttress your point, I saw a document, I think as far back as 2018, where there was a newspaper report that parents actually pay for accent classes. And I was like, and this report was domiciled in Abuja, and it happens everywhere in Nigeria. I was like, are you a voiceover coach or a voiceover talent that you're paying for accent? If your role doesn't require you to perform a character, to take on a character, you know, you might want to be from the southern part of Nigeria and you need to take on a particular accent. If your role doesn't require that, why are you stressing yourself? For accent, how did we get there? I think it boils down to us trying to have that validation. A lot of us felt our mother tongue is not good enough, and that's partly why one of the ways when I introduce myself, I use my tonal marks, using my mother tongue to introduce myself, because it's deliberate. So far you can speak the acceptable language, which is English language. Yeah. You should also be able to communicate in your mother tongue. It's called mother tongue for a reason. It's your identity. It's what you were given right from birth. So parents going to pay for accent classes, I think, is a wrong thing. What you should encourage is your child should speak with diction. And what is diction? It's a matter of speaking right with in whether you're writing or whether you're speaking. So diction is not only you coming and saying the sounds, it's also the need for you to be able to use grammar. I've seen people, there was one instance where I saw someone being employed in a media station, and the person, for anything, the person was able to convince the CEO to employ him because he was saying, coulda, wanna, gonna. But the same person would come on air and do the subject-verb agreements in a wonderful way, you know, irony intended. Yes. And the person, the grammar was all over the place, but the person was able to maneuver and start speaking all sorts. So we need to emphasize diction over accent.
Okay, so I'm going to get back to you, but allow me to quickly, what would you say influences this accentism, permit me to use the word? What role is the media playing? Even when you watch television ads, you hear a lot of accents. So what role do you think the media is playing in this accentism?
Okay, thank you. I would say that this issue around accents has to do with some effect from the colonial masters, right? Most people get to appreciate things that are foreign, things that are imported. Like I said earlier, it's more of a macro issue, right? And because of that, it has really affected the way people get to, you know, recruits, people get to make decisions in terms of hiring and things like that. I know that in the media space, people are always focused on, or I would say the producers are always focused on premium things. They're always focused on being able to export whatever they're producing, you know, to global markets. And because of that, they would rather, you know, prioritize or I would say select people who actually are able to help them get that outside the local environment. So yeah, those are the factors.
Okay, okay, and I think it's also very important for us to talk about the positive impact of having an authentic Nigerian accent. I was opportune to host Z-Cine Awards in 2023 all the way in India, and I was the only black man right there. And one of the things that drew a lot of people to me was the fact that I was unmistakable. Like, you couldn't mistake me for another nationality. They knew I was a black man from Nigeria. I sounded black, and it was interesting to them. So do you think there are positives with sounding authentically Nigerian? And does it offer us the opportunity to even export our Africanness to the rest of the world?
Very true. I play in the voiceover space as well, and there's this conversation about people from outside coming to Nigeria to harvest, so to speak, stories made and birthed in Nigeria. And they are looking for authentic Nigerian voices. Not, you know, sometimes I sign up on some sites and they send scripts, they send briefs. They will be like, I would need a Nigerian West African accent, because they know that the person that sounds from here, not an AI generated voice, they need that voice. So I think our stories, I was watching I like watching old movies. So I was watching an old series of people for likes of Olu Jacobs and the like.
Oh yes.
And I was in awe of how they sounded. Uberto Gunde, you know, they sounded so well with diction, and their Nigerianness didn't leave them. I said, what happened? What went wrong? Is it the decline in the 80s and 90s? So I think we need to go back to watching those flicks. We have good storytelling in Nollywood. We have good scripts. I think our dialogue just needs to change. We need to be speaking with the right diction, not just a foreign accent.
All right. Olamide, what is the future for the people that have authentic Nigerian accents in the workplace? And how can that future be secured, if I'd use that word?
I think authenticity is very essential, right? I believe that everyone that has an authentic voice in the workspace has a future. So the question should really be that those that are actually unauthentic in the way they address, in the way they communicate, do they even have a future at the workspace? That should be the question. And so if that's the question, it means that what we should be promoting are people who probably have defects in the way they communicate, and helping them to correct their dictions, not as a way of mimicking them, but as a way of helping them further understand how to communicate. If we're able to do that, right, we'll be able to promote the right type of communication broadly. And at the same time, we'll be able to get the right persons in different positions in the future, right, because you're grooming them to be able to, you know, communicate the way you want to see it in the future.
All right, thank you very much, Olamide and Oludolapo. It's been an amazing time with you. And yes, before I leave, I just wanted to tell you a quick joke. You know, I saw this particular young lady in Lekki, and she just came late to an occasion. And then she came in, I'm like, why are you late? She said, oh my God, I'm late because I went to the market. You understand? So she mixed an American accent with an Igbo accent. So the point is, whatever accent you're speaking in, make sure you are consistent. If you're using the UK accent, be consistent in it. But of course, we would always recommend...
UK accents.
Yes,
there are lots.
Absolutely.
Yes, we would always recommend sounding as authentic as possible because we're proud to be Nigerians. Robbie Mind continues after this break.